Pretty simple analysis here. 6-man box. They're going to read it, so it's just zone read with the wide splits. So you get 6 on 6 basically. Defensive end starts in a 5 technique and just wins across the face of the right tackle. It's as simple as that. If the right tackle roots him out, you got a combo block through the nose between the right guard and the center up to the mic that's there, and he punches it through there. And he's going to punch it through before this overhang gets there. You get 4 or 5 yards. Said the defensive end wins across the face. Look at the initial punch here. Boom, punch, get off. Don't let them control you. Hands first, they're higher. That's not usually great. Usually you're going to be able to lock out with those hands underneath, but you're going to see able just to wash down those hands, win inside, and that's the play. Right? Instead of getting it to 3rd and short, now you're 3rd and medium. 3rd and 4, and this is a call to go for it on 4th down, right? Pick up 2 or 3 yards, go for it on 4th down if you don't get it. And again, frontside plug. This is a read now. So you get the combo block on the defensive end between the left guard and the left tackle. The center blocks down on the nose tackle. As soon as he reads clear, boom, going. And you just see they aren't sure what to do on the timing of the combo block. They're trying to be patient because how TCU stacks the linebackers and is patient with the reads. Here, they are not patient with the reads. He fires. They miss him entirely. Right? Otherwise, you got a pretty well-blocked play. You got a combo block working out to him. You have the combo block working out to him. You have an extra hat here to cut off him. So you actually are +1 in the box because the split zone should be going to this overhang. Right? Because you got 7 blockers versus 7 total. I mean, 8, he's sniffing around, but you're not down numbers-wise on 3rd and 4. But it's just the combo blocks not getting off. It is something that Michigan had trouble with all day, is the defensive ends just occupying. You're going to see him punch into the tackle here, actually, knock the tackle back. Guard has to sense that and try to get on the hip, shove him outside, and climb. Instead, he stays on him too long. His eyes are on the outside linebacker. He's waiting to come off on it, but he's expecting him to be patient. And he just misses it. It's a tackle for loss. Now Michigan needs to settle for a field goal. 10 off of the Michigan score. TCU comes out empty. Again, they run the stutter slant with the slot fade. Same concept that they ran first play of the game. Trying to attack split safeties with the stutter slant. This time it gets intercepted. This is the matchup that they were looking for. So they didn't get it the first play of the game. Michigan got pressure, and they forced the slot fade, remember. This is the coverage matchup they were looking for. They were trying to pick on the linebacker in coverage. On the slot, trying to get him to bite on this kind of stutter where he can run and out. He could block the quarterback draw, so on and so forth, and then bang, hit him with the slant with the split safeties getting wide. That's what they're trying to hit. This linebacker has had some issues mostly in zone coverage this year. Here he gets into man. You see him bite a little bit on the stutter, but does a nice job with his recovery. The slant starts to fade a little bit too much, so you're going to watch him bite a little bit there. Now here's the redirect on the slant. What you're going to notice, though, is at first he tries to go vertical. Right? He doesn't want to slant it across. He wants to slant it vertical between the safeties. And the linebacker does a good job capping it, forcing him underneath. That slows his path, and then you can see him bending away. Right? It's not a strong kind of 30-degree slant. He starts fading upfield. That allows the linebacker to recover underneath, get that hand right in the window, punch the ball up, tip it to the free safety, interception. Michigan looks like they're back in business. Michigan gets back into this offset I formation. They really liked this. Got a lot of hard play action pass out of it. Here's the play action pass right down to the goal line. Hard play action with a guard pulling over the top. They call it a touchdown here, bring it back to the 1-yard line. Obviously, that's going to be a big deal in a second. What's happening? So the slot is where TCU can have trouble. This is a 3-high safety. You can see the safety creeping up over here. in the middle of the field. So it's their 3 high safety look. Their outside cornerbacks are very good in coverage. Their safeties are more opportunistic, great at reading the eyes of the quarterback, very instinctual, make play on the ball, but they can bite. So the hard play action gets him to suck up. What's interesting, you see he plays flat. He doesn't suck up, but he wants to. He's ready to trigger on the run. And what's interesting is this guy's going to run kind of a corner post. He is going to run a deep dig, like a 20-yard dig route. And the dig is wide open. And I would expect throughout the season that the quarterback hits that dig more often than not. So he can hit it coming out of the break before this guy is able to robot underneath it. You see this guy kind of looming, but that's open at the hash. Has inside leverage and everything. But he notices the middle safety playing flat and then having to turn and run and not identifying the ball, and he takes his shot. So there was a noted effort to take shots versus this coverage, versus this defense. You can see him turn away, right? He turns opposite, and that's when he decides to go to the post. That's wide open. That's about as open as you're going to get, right? This is capped. This is a pretty good coverage. But he's just playing it too flat, the safety playing way too flat, not turning early enough, and just gets burned deep, and they can't recover. So this is a good job identifying the coverage, seeing the coverage is not going to recover to your fast wide receiver and taking that shot. All right, here's the infamous fullback dive, fumble. Of course, it doesn't just fumble into the pile, it fumbles back into the end zone right to a TCU player. Let me give my 2 cents on fullback dive. I don't mind fullback dive if you run under center fullback dive. If it's part of your repertoire, I don't mind it. Why? It hits the defense at a different speed. And that's important because these linebackers need to time up their speed for when to make contact, right? If a running back's jumping over the top, they have to meet him in the air. So if they arrive early, they're already accounted for. He can dive in, so on and so forth. So the dive can work if you run it. But this is a running back that hasn't been in this position. Look how far forward he is in his 3-point stance. That's about a 50-50 split, right? Weight-wise, weight distribution. He's outside the guard, so he's pretty wide stance. And you're going to see him hand, ball pops out right back to the safety. So instead of TCU recovering at the 1, they recover and get the ball at the 20. Now, why is this even more important near the goal line? Well, near the goal line, everything is sped up. Everything's happening faster. So now you're having somebody do something that they don't often do, except for whatever reps you ran of it during the week, which probably aren't a ton, right? You do your situational, and that's it. And everything's sped up, and he's in a hurry. And you're going to watch. I mean, he gets his correct hand up, correct hand down, but he squeezes down on the ball too fast because he's sped up, and he's trying to actually slide off to the hole on the left, because TCU's alignment has the interior gaps really well covered. So he's in a hurry. He's trying to make a move on grass that these guys aren't comfortable with a scheme that they don't run much. And you can see his right arm just collapses down on the ball before it gets into his belly because he's in a hurry, because of the placement on the field and because you don't run this usually. He's not a fullback. He's a converted linebacker playing running back, but now you're making him play fullback and he's trying to slide off to the left. It gets booted. Somehow magically does that, which is nice. And that's that. Right, simple little inside zone run, 11 personnel. Now what happens here? The defensive end or the outside linebacker kind of gets caught in no man's land. He's not the longest player, but he's usually pretty decent against the run, holding the edge, especially against the tight end. The problem is here he just loses his length, tries to fight inside late. And Michigan will do this where they'll, run away, they'll start to fight inside, safety will make them right. But he just doesn't really win definitively inside. So now the safety's peeking inside, he's still trying to fight inside. By the time he gets back outside, he's lost the edge. And then the cornerback can't make the play. And it's 15 yards. So good job by the running back, right? Pressing the hole. Press the hole. And look at the footwork difference here between the TCU running back and the Michigan running back. See how his feet keep contact with the ground? I mean, it's not the greatest cut to the outside, but you just see it's patient, allows the edge to develop, and then hit it, rather than that big hop step that you saw earlier from Edwards. All right, interesting little game here. 3rd and 4. Nice cat and mouse game here. Motion in, identify the coverage. It is man. Michigan threatens 6. They drop out 1 to be a rat underneath. So this is similar to drive and chase. So drive and chase would be something like him running a drive route and the running back running an angle behind it. Here he's going to run the slant, and the tight end's going to run a flat return. If the slant's open, you hit it. Otherwise, you attack the return. It's man coverage. He thinks he has a win because of man coverage, and he sees him hop over the top. So he thinks, boom, right there, I have a leverage win. And then this linebacker drops right underneath it, makes a good enough play on the ball. What's he doing? He's reading the block coming to him. So the line is blocking him, not the running back. Running back is taking 23. Whoever the running back is taking, that linebacker is going to continue to go. And the other will drop out to be the rat player. And he drops right underneath that slant route. It probably gets in his field of vision, so he sees that guy there, doesn't catch it cleanly, and misses. I also like this. Watch this linebacker attack the running back in protection. Watch him pop. Quarterback's got to get it out. But a cool design play, right? Doesn't really have time to wait for the return, though the return's not really open either. Not a good matchup there for TCU. And Michigan gets the ball back after their fumble, albeit with the field position completely switched. This is basically the same formation for Michigan. It's the offset I formation that they were running. Running the same scheme. Again, this is just insert ISO, but with the H lined up opposite. So right here's the H. Instead of being a fullback tailback, they just move them over here. They insert them on the opposite side. Same play. And what you're going to see is this is what they're trying to confuse, right? They're trying to get this guy who's supposed to respond to the H or the fullback, and you're going to see him hop all the way outside like it's split zone. See how far wide he splits? And that should allow the running back to punch it. So they make him wrong because he reads it wrong. Now the problem is, for Michigan, is they're unable to lock out this guy. The left tackle here needs to be able to lock out this defensive end. And that's another way that TCU won a lot, is they were not able to seal them on one side. TCU did a great job on the line of scrimmage, getting into their gap and then fighting back once the ball declared. And he fights back in, and he's the one that makes the play. Now, they have another safety coming down to help out, but right, a running back's going to kind of churn through that for about a 5-yard gain. That's the difference of 2 to 5 yards, right, or 3 yards to 5 to 6 yards. And that's where TCU won. I like this little frog stance here at nose, 4-point stance. Look how square his feet are, how low his butt is. I like that stance. Fire right into that center. And he's going to try to fight back too, right? He wins back across. So both defensive linemen at the point of attack fight back across, squeeze out that gap. So even though that other safety that arrives late is there, he doesn't have to play in space. This guy, he doesn't have to play in space. So that's the difference. You know, even if this guy gets locked out, okay, he gets through, but it's mitigated to 5 or 6 yards because of what the defensive line did. If the defensive line gets locked out, then it's this running back one-on-one with that safety in space, and then it's a potentially big play. Instead, 3-yard gain. This was really the expectation coming into the game. Counter OT. And this is what Michigan thought they were going to be able to do. You're going to see a tray block, which is a tight end, left tackle on this kind of 5 technique defensive end. You're going to see the tight end really knock his hip down, knock it down onto the tackle. Look at the tackle, throw him inside. He's able to climb, get on a linebacker so the linebackers can't scrape hard. Here's the backside linebacker scraping over the top. Well, he's collected by the first through, the second through, goes through the man to the cornerback. Everything's blocked up through the safety level. You got your push, and now you're just driving for 6-7 yards. Right? This is what Michigan thought they could do, and what most people thought Michigan could do. It's just a great combo block. You got that movement. They didn't get that most of the game. He climbs up, cuts it off, 2 for 2, and now it's this backside safety or a deep safety that has to come finish off the play. Really well run, executed counter OT there. Really nice job going through the progression here. Fake the jet. This is intended to be a pop pass. So pop pass, they're trying to get hard run action both with the inside zone and the jet. Get the linebackers to suck up, delay the release from the Y, so start off in the block, and then shed, pop. And he sees this linebacker, identifies it, caps it, immediately works off of it. He runs a nice little comeback route, 15-yard comeback route, and hits it. So that's a great job getting through the progression because this play really wants to hit this pop pass. But he notices it's covered, so immediately he's going to work the high-low. He gets off of it, works the high-low, finds the soft spot in the defense, completion, 15 yards on what could have been a dead play. So really nice job by the quarterback working it there. This was my concern with Michigan not playing the mobile quarterback all year and then having to face Duggan because everybody does a great job playing counter. They just don't do a great job playing counter read. You're going to see this guy, again, crash behind the line of scrimmage and cancel out gaps. When that's happening, when someone is chasing down the ass of the pulling lineman, someone's got to fit over the top for the quarterback. No one does. So it's a free 7-8 yards. Defensive tackles do a really nice job fighting back. Watch this guy fight back over the top of the center. Great job. Him attacking the kick-out block, getting in the backfield, forcing it back inside. Good block. This defensive tackle has a little bit of trouble. Nice combo block right here on him. But again, right, they get a pancake there. That's a big boy block against the big boy defensive tackle too. But someone needs to be falling back for the read, right? They know this, but someone's busting in the assignment. My guess might be the cornerback. I think it's a corner pressure. And he doesn't get the call. Because you're going to see him work right over the top immediately. And no one's there for the quarterback. Not much to say other than a bust. Same corner pressure scheme. So Michigan was doing something formationally with how they treated the safeties. Because sometimes they were cheating middle and third. And for whatever reason, this defensive back thinks he has third when he needs to get over top of the corner or the wide receiver with the cornerback blitzing. So again, they're just not understanding the calls. He comes on the pressure. He identifies it immediately. He sees it, part of this is luck, right? They have a call on where the single high, if this is a man-to-man matchup, so this guy rotates away, they're just going to take the man-to-man matchup. And so when he sees the safety rotate, his eyes are going straight here. And, oh, well, he's just wide open. Wow, that's really nice of you guys. Thank you. So it's just a bust. It's a bust that shouldn't be happening. I think this is kind of a newer call. The way that they're running it, they certainly ran a lot of corner blitzes this year, not with great success. But I don't remember them ever busting on it. It was not really executed extremely well, but I don't remember them busting. And here they are several times in this game against pretty standard formations, nothing crazy. So it's something that they added to the call, either formationally or something like that, that they're not getting it. And they're busting on the coverage. And here you go. Here's a free 30 yards. Michigan goes cover 0. TCU runs a version of mesh. A lot of people calling this kind of the wide receiver screen here, drag screen, as I've seen it called. I don't think this actually is, though it can be because the receiver does bend it back behind the line of scrimmage. What does that mean? Since he crosses the formation but bends it back behind the line of scrimmage, all these guys can block. Everybody can block downfield. And they do that later in the game. I don't think this is. I think this is a normal mesh. And the reason I think so is watch this guy purposefully avoid, like, he's targeting 5, right? He's targeting, but he does this little whoop. I'm not blocking him, not blocking him. He wouldn't have to do that if it was a called screen. So I think this is just a standard mesh play. Michigan sends pressure. It's a 0 pressure. He's delayed because he's matched up on here, and then he's going to green dog into the blitz. Pressure gets home. Great job by the quarterback, just buying time, right? These flat routes are going to come open. They're going to run away from man coverage. So you just want to buy enough time to let receivers run away from man coverage. They do it with this outside wide receiver, so he gets first rub here. Instead of running, usually on mesh, it's going to be like a corner route. Instead, he's run kind of almost like a wheel to get a little extra, right? It's a little extra right there. He's going to come across the little extra, but that first one's what caused the separation. But watch the path he has to take. So he's got to go. That's the separation. It delays him coming underneath. Now he's got to fight underneath it. He's got to fight underneath that one. He fights even more off path. I'd like him to go over top there, right? You've lost the route. By this point, you've lost the route. Get over, right? When you see this guy, probably because of the path, that's why he thinks he can go under, but you probably want to fight over the top. Try to live to see another play on this one. Goes underneath, isn't able to make the tackle. Touchdown.